running for Senate now.
Oh, is that the word on the street?
That is the word. That is the word. But let's get back to the Goobinator. And this newest video, which is perhaps coordinated with a third-party group, should be illegal, but of course, it's not. Not here anyways. But Brian, if we could, we're going to play this. It's a little bit longer. It's 4 minutes, but I assure you, we will interrupt the man quite frequently. And Brian, you're going to have to play along if you'd be so kind. Starts, looks like he's in the Goobinator's conference room, wearing a suit, you know, as one would expect. Either it's a t-shirt on the back of a Harley or a blue suit. But let's play it, if you'd be so kind, Brian. Play it for all the fine people here in Wisconsin and all across the country. The Goobinator.
My parents both worked hard. My dad was a minister, and my mom worked part-time as a secretary and a bookkeeper. And my grandparents, one grandfather.
If we could stop it, let me just say, I see where he gets his good looks from.
Please continue, Brian.
I was a machinist for 42 years. My other grandparents were farmers, so hard work was a part of my life. Not only did my parents model it, but they expected that out of me. There was that high expectation. I started working as a kid, washing dishes. High school, I moved up to the big time. I started flipping hamburgers at McDonald's. And later in life, I've done all sorts of jobs, from selling warranty agreements for IBM to working for the American Red Cross.
Let's stop right there. He's had 3 jobs in the private sector in the entirety of his life. Prior to 1993, the man did what? Flip burgers at a McDonald's.
No. He washed dishes, then he went up to the big time and flipped burgers.
Well, I thought he claimed he got to work the register at some point, and Paul Ryan wasn't good enough for the register. Paul Ryan had to be in the back.
It depends who your audience is.
Okay, so anyways, had the hard working, presumably minimum wage job, in like 1985. And then there was that job selling warranties for IBM. That was the job that he apparently, left college for? And then shortly thereafter, he went to work for
American Red Cross.
Yes. And those college jobs all happened, or shortly after he dropped out of college, 1993 or prior. So what he's describing are short-term job assignments that he had in the early 1990s before he was elected to state legislature in 1993.
And presumably he's throwing in the dishwashing and flipping burgers. Those were the jobs perhaps in high school.
That's probably a singular high school job. Right. I don't think he had multiple jobs at multiple locations.
So, but in drawing, in backing up his hardworking analogy, as he somehow takes credit for the hard work of his grandparents and his parents.
Someone in his ancestry was hardworking, right. But he has not had a job in the private sector since 1993. But when he tells his story, it sounds like, oh man, I've been busting ass out here. I just got around to goobinating here in the last year or two, right?
Right. New to the scene. There's so much more to be done.
Almost like he was some sort of outsider, fresh-faced to politics, Tom. Let's continue if we could, Fancy Brian.
To eventually serving in public service.
Eventually.
And so we need to get people back on track
forward,
to that, knowing that it's in our human instinct to want to work, to want to be fulfilled in our labor and our employment. There's a lot of people who want to work, but the government's put up too many barriers.
Wait. First of all, his ambition, of course, is to the presidency, some higher, more powerful, ultimate place to reside. He's getting sick of the governor's mansion, wants the big house in D.C.
Well, he doesn't have another house, so if he leaves or doesn't get elected to be the governor of the state of Wisconsin, he's going to have to go somewhere.
Here's the point he ends with, though. The government puts forth too many regulations on the workers. Workers can't work because of
government regulation.
What's that mean? Like, you got to have a driver's license to drive a truck? Or you got to be...
Yeah, you got to get a CDL to drive a semi. That's government regulation. You got to get in order to do operations, you probably got to have some sort of medical degree for a certification from the state.
Perhaps a doctorate certificate, if you're a doctor.
Maybe.
Man, what kind of a government gets in the way of my ability to practice medicine without licensing?
I mean, Crudy, if is this all about if this is all about solutions, using the markets, market-driven solutions.
Free market solutions?
Yes, certainly I would come in underbid to totally redo the natural gas in your house. I guarantee you I would do it cheaper than a licensed person in that regard.
Oh, you're going to redo my gas lines?
Yes, half the price.
Half price gas service installed in my house?
Yes.
You going to come over and cook me dinner on the new stove after that?
No, that wouldn't want to impose upon you, but isn't that what government-free market capitalist solutions are?
You mean governmental regulations getting in the way of people working? I don't even know what the hell this man's talking about. It doesn't quite fit the narrative. Let's take a break. Let's come back. More of us, Devil's Advocates, right here on WRRD 1510 AM. Your calls, always welcome. 844-967-2789.
You wouldn't hire me to be a neurosurgeon. You wouldn't hire me to run condos. You wouldn't hire me to run HP. You probably wouldn't hire me to run the United States Senate.
What would you say you do here?
You know, I'm an Eagle Scout.
Wanker!
Scott Walker thinks Wisconsin should once again hire him as governor.
You wouldn't hire me to be a neurosurgeon.
This is a person who has not worked in the private sector since 1993.
You wouldn't hire me to run condos. You wouldn't hire me to run HP.
And has made his political career.
You probably wouldn't hire me to run the United States Senate.
By using divisive tactics to the benefit of his corporate donors.
First step is we're going to deal with collective bargaining for all public employee unions. Because you divide and conquer.
Now he supports the largest publicly funded government subsidy of a foreign corporation in American history.
You know, they can go suck lemons.
And Scott Walker has yet to live up to his first campaign promise to create 250,000 jobs.
Is this a campaign promise? Something you want to be held to?
Absolutely.
Scott Walker, we the people are done sucking your lemons. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org. I was on Zero Res Madison's Facebook page the other day, and they have almost 2,000 testimonials from local customers. Apparently, I am not the only one stoked on how cool this company is. A green technology that actually works better and doesn't cost more, it's a no-brainer, I'm in. We are starting our own Devil's Advocates revolution to free your carpets from harsh chemicals and soaps. Call Zero Res today and ask for the Diamond Crude Special 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward, it's the right way to clean.
Hi, I'm Brian Kelly, and I'm host of the Wisconsin News Hour weekdays from 2 to 3 on 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Join me as I talk about politics with a focus on local news.
Man, I've got certain information, all right? Certain things have come to light.
I know enough to know what I don't know, which is more than I can say for most people.
Forget it, Donnie. You're out of your element.
The Wisconsin News Hour with Brian Kelly, weekdays from 2 to 3 on 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
In Wisconsin, the laws are the same for bicyclists and motorists, so if you bike, ride with the traffic and obey signs and lights. Whether you ride a bike or drive a car, you must yield the right-of-way to pedestrians at marked and unmarked crosswalks. At intersections, always look for pedestrians before making a turn and slow down in school zones and neighborhoods to keep our kids safe. Share and be aware. We're all responsible. Visit, share, and
April Stephanie Miller, mute there. When asked where to turn for a trust, they help you through the process and protect your
experience. Treated that I got.
He's at Lawton and Cates, 282s.
You got to change your evil ways.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, 1510 AM WRRD. We stream on Facebook and on YouTube. We're on Twitter at Devil Radio. Always on the phones. For you, 844-967-2789.
Of all the musical types, I mean, I realize this is Santana, but it sort of has a salsa beat. I love me some salsa music, man. As long as it's not the type made in New York City. we were interrupted. You know, damn clock commercials get in the way. But we're going to get back to it. Governor Walker, perhaps in coordination with a third-party group, maybe it should be illegal, but my understanding is it's probably not. The foundation of...
For government accountability.
Well, thank you for clarifying. We'd hate to get that wrong. You know, it's another right-wing think tank. One of, I would say, oodles. And they're also very well funded. It's almost like there's George Soros is on the right as well.
What?
So anyways, let's get back to it. The gubernator in this ad, and the scene, the gubernator in his Sunday best, sitting in the gubernator's conference room. You know, quite a stunning and stark difference than the T-shirted gubernator riding the used Harley around some holes, you know, potholes, that is, in the state of Wisconsin's highways. I think they probably had to drive, you know, perhaps to Minnesota to film that.
Nice.
But anyways, here's another video, seemingly in coordination, at least the timing conspicuous. The gubernator, Scott Walker, being distributed currently by the FGA, played for the people, Fancy Brian.
I often say nobody dreams of being dependent on the government. When someone has a job, they have peace of mind, there's pride in their family, there's pride in their friends.
He dreams, literally, of being dependent on the government. He wants to be the president or some other high-ranking official. Of course, president. He's the one that dreams of being a governmental dependent. He has been one since 1993.
Why do you just continue to misunderstand?
Point out the obvious.
It's public service, you know, much like you joining the military.
Oh, that's you. That is entirely equitable. Yes, yes. Walker accepting corrupted campaign cash from whoever will write him a check.
Public service.
And then selling out the taxpayers of Wisconsin.
Public service.
And my signing up for the military 8 days after Iraq invaded Kuwait. That's entirely equitable. I get it. Thank you for that analogy.
Yeah, I'm just wanting to make you understand.
That reconciles and squares it for me now.
Yeah, it makes much more sense now when you hear Walker talk about his public service.
Let's play on.
I want to empower people to do that. When I think about particularly the changes that we've made and are making for adults with children, for people who are parents, it's not just about getting them in the workforce now, it's about the modeling. It's about showing their children the benefits of work. For far too long here in Wisconsin, across the nation, we've seen the sad stories of cycles of dependency on welfare and other programs in the state and the federal government.
Welfare.
And that's just wrong. My goal going forward would be that we would have next to no one on government assistance, and that those that were on would be on temporarily, at least for those who were capable of working. We found, at least here in this state, that some of the most aggressive movement we've had into the workforce are people with intellectual...
Wait, stop right now. And you think to yourself, but what about the disabled? Well, Walker's got a plan for that as well. Move them into the workforce. And I've got a son who's disabled. I hope he doesn't have vocational challenges later in life. But honestly, really, what, Grandma? Get her out there?
Keep working, baby.
She, what, put a sidecar on her wheelchair? She can be like a rolling Uber out there on the streets? Everybody works in Walker's world. Everybody works.
Well, in order to get the value and the nobility that comes from work, you must keep working.
Get Grandma a sidecar. Surge price and coming.
The dignity that comes with work.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, serving the people like this man does.
Let's keep going, Brian.
And physical disabilities who with a slight adaptation can move into the workforce on their own once we help them out. And they're some of the greatest examples of people who find
and then perhaps we can
pride and fulfillment out of being
for
someone who's working,
other forms
earning their own money, living their own life. And to me, that's a great example for anyone else. There's no reason why every one of us who are capable of working cannot be in the workforce.
Well, that's very nice.
One of my favorite stories.
Scott Walker, as a very disabled man, has, you know, really advanced to the pinnacle of state politics.
Oh, come on, man.
A man with an intellectual challenge like this man to raise to the level of governor, I mean, really, it's commendable.
Don't insult disabled people by comparing Governor Walker to them. Let's keep going.
I apologize to the truly disabled, not just the, you know, the politically disabled.
in the workforce. One of my favorite stories came from a woman named Jessica up in Anago in northeastern Wisconsin, where she came to us and said, because of your programs, for the first time in my life, somebody actually believed in me. You know, all my life they told me I wouldn't make it in school, I couldn't make it in life, I'd be nothing, and instead your people said,
Same thing
no,
people have been telling
we expect
Walker.
more out of you, we know you can do more, we're willing to support you, we know you can do better than what you've done thus far, and that's what it's all about. It's about stories like Jessica's. Sometimes those cynics out there who don't appreciate what we're doing, thinking it's about cutting
Suck
people
lemons.
off of benefits. What we're really doing is not making it harder to get government assistance.
Make it easier to get a job.
Easier to get a job. I've got more people working in the state than ever before. Not only is it a good thing for the person, I need it for my economy. I need it for my employers. It's good for the taxpayers. It's good for employers. Most of all, it's good for the person. We're good and decent people here in this state. We want to care for
Most of
our
the governor.
fellow citizen when they're down and out. But I just believe that public assistance should be more like a trampoline than like a hammock. We want to get people out and back into the workforce. And that includes not just those who've been dependent on the government without children, but it includes parents of children as well. My kids started working about 14 when one worked at a pizza stand, the other worked at a custard stand near our home in Wauwatosa. Both went on to park cars and work their way through college, and I can actually remember some of the other parents saying to me, well, you guys make enough money, why do you know, your kids are in sports and scouts and extracurriculars, why do you make them work?
I'm not clear that he's
because
making
they
that
need to
good
learn
money.
to work. They need to learn
Man
that
with
there's
a
value
net
and
negative
joy
worth.
and satisfaction.
I'm sorry, Brian. I didn't mean to step on you, but a man with a net negative worth $73,500 per his FEC disclosure, I'm not clear that the gubernator always had lots of money. You can't use campaign dollars to put the kids in daycare, can you, Don?
Right, not that I know of.
Really important for people to pass that on from one generation to the next, and when they don't,
that's why we
it's
want to
critically
repeal
important
the
as to why we
estate
need
tax.
to change that and break that cycle. The ultimate freedom is controlling your own life and setting your own destiny through work.
The ultimate freedom. Freedom, 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 Dom. Well, that was the FGA's coordinated video with the gubernator, Scott Walker.
Scott Walker, working very hard, must feel very dignified in working his public service job since 1993.
You know, there is some video of the gubernator's offspring. You know, the one that got caught recently using the state's resources to
move
a buddy. He offered to get out and walk.
Get out and walk?
Yes, I'll walk.
Oh, because what, they were doubling up on the seats or something? What was the issue?
Well, you know, he apparently was not riding lawfully, but when your dad's the governor and you've, you know, perhaps taken a governmental vehicle, which would not be under the purview of, what, the governor's son for any particular reason?
And putting the state at great risk and liability?
No, officer, I'm not drunk. I'll walk home from here. Come back with us. Hour 2 Devil's Advocates right here on WRD 1510 AM.
Wanker. Businesses today thrive and survive with technology. At Five Nines, we provide businesses with the IT tools they need to stay relevant. We offer enterprise-level solutions at competitive prices. I'm Todd Stryker, President and CEO of Five Nines. Let us manage your IT so you can focus on more important things, like running your business. Check us out at fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
Mark your calendars. Wednesday, November 8th, the ACLU of Wisconsin's Bill of Rights celebration, a year of resistance at the Italian Conference Center in Milwaukee. Dinner and award ceremony starts at 5. After party starts at 8, Dom.
Crudy, the keynote speaker, is the National ACLU Political Director, Faz Shakir. Tickets for the whole evening, $100 per person, or just come to party with the Devil's Advocates and music from Madison's own Whiskey Farm for just $25.
The ACLU is honoring Planned Parenthood, the NAACP Youth Commandos of 1967, the brave plaintiffs in their case against conditions at Lincoln Hills, and the lead plaintiff in the voter ID case.
The ACLU of Wisconsin's Bill of Rights celebration, Wednesday, November 8th. Go to aclu-wi.org for tickets and more information.
I only drink when I feel good. I've got what I love and I love what I've got. It just so happens I'm happy a lot.
The Devil's Advocates.
Well, if the rapture comes, I hope they take me and leave Dom.
If the rapture comes, we'll be here tomorrow, Mike, taking your calls. We certainly appreciate it. 844-967-2789.
Come on, man. You must mean the royal we.
So relevant, they have one foot in tomorrow.
Hey, if you want to go meet your maker, Crudy, don't let me stop you.
I'm your maker, man.
844.
You've already met him.
You are listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, WRRD, 1510 AM, Waukesha, Milwaukee.
Armed and dangerous, left behind. I'm Michael Toscano.
This guy can be anywhere.
Wilmington, Delaware Police Chief Robert Tracy on the widening Northeast Corridor manhunt for 37-year-old Radi Labib Prince, the suspect in the shooting deaths of 3 people and the wounding of 2 others at his workplace in Harford County, Maryland, and the later wounding of a man in a used car dealership in Wilmington.
I mean, look at the states. We have New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Maryland in such close proximity of Wilmington. And how quick did he get from Edgewood, Maryland? It took about an hour drive to get here.
Police describe Prince as armed and dangerous, saying they have no motive yet. The mystery shrouding the deaths of 4 U.S. servicemen in Niger, Africa deepens. Pentagon correspondent Barbara Starr reports one person, Sergeant LaDavid Johnson, was left behind after an ISIS ambush and found dead, and Pentagon officials want to know why.
Did both the contractor plane, which is not armed, and the French military helicopter evacuate dead and wounded Americans? Did both of those aircraft have good communication? Quite bluntly, did they do a nose count? Did they know how many people they were supposed to evacuate? And did they have them all when they lifted off from that area? Because LaDavid Johnson got left behind for 48 hours.
The NFL says players should stand during the national anthem, but after a team owners meeting in New York today, Commissioner Roger Goodell announced the league will not tell the players they must stand. And he says the players taking a knee are not showing disrespect to flag or country.
What we're trying to do is stay out of politics. We're not looking to get into politics. What we're looking to do is continue to keep people focused on football.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott has stayed this evening's execution of the so-called tourniquet killer, Anthony Shore, because of questions about one of the convictions. It's a 90-day postponement. Powered by a surge in IBM, the Dow skyrocketed to close above 23,000 for the first time ever, closing up 159 points. The S&P 500 gained 2 points. The Nasdaq won. I'm Michael Toscano.
What if hiring could be easier, less time-consuming, with more qualified candidates and faster results? What if hiring could be smarter? Thanks to ZipRecruiter, it can be. With one click, post your job to over 100 of the web's leading job boards, so you don't spend time wondering where the right candidates are searching. Then ZipRecruiter uses its smart matching technology to scan millions of active resumes and notify the most qualified candidates to apply for your job. And the ZipRecruiter dashboard makes it easy to review, rate, and contact candidates, all in one place. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter makes it simple for growing businesses of all sizes to hire the right people, no matter the industry. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
We're so confident ZipRecruiter will get you the results you need. We'll let you try it free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/talk. That's ZipRecruiter.com/talk. ZipRecruiter.com/talk.
So are you enjoying yourself riding around in your late model Ford F-150 pickup truck? Well, watch out for the door. Ford is issuing a recall of 1.3 million F-Series trucks.
The best-selling vehicle in America has a door latch problem that could let the door open while the truck is moving. In addition to the problem with the door opening unexpectedly, the latch can also prevent the driver from opening the door when it's needed. Ford estimates it will cost $267 million to make the repairs. Affected models include some of the model year 2015, 2016, and 2017 F-150s, as well as some 2017 Super Duty pickups. Ford sold 820,000 of the F-Series trucks in the U.S. alone last year. I'm Jan Johnson.
I know, still has that new truck smell, already a recall. Might be a good time to pick up a Harley, though. Demand is way down. Harley-Davidson says sales of its iconic motorcycles are off 40% from this time just last year. I'm Michael Toscano.
If you've fallen behind on your taxes, you know that the IRS is already coming for their money, and they'll get it too by garnishing your wages or maybe even taking your home or business. They call it enforced compliance, and you'd better watch out because the penalties and interest compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. You need to call the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Solving tax issues is all they do. One call to Optima starts the process to stop the demand letters and stop aggressive collection actions. They get to work immediately, fighting to protect your assets and helping you put your tax problems behind you. The IRS writes off millions every year, and Optima knows all the ins and outs of the IRS's tax assistance programs that could save you thousands. So what are you waiting for? Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-559-8226. 800-559-8226. 800-559-8226.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit Optima.
Good afternoon. It's 4:05 for 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. My name is Brian Kelly. The new Forbes 400 list is out, and the owner of Menard's Home Improvement Stores remains Wisconsin's richest resident. John Menard, the chief executive of Eau Claire-based Menards, dropped one position from 46th to 47th overall with a net worth of $9.9 billion. Judy Faulkner, founder of Epic Systems in Verona, jumped more than 100 spots this year from 321 to 219 with a net worth of $2.2 billion. There's a total of 9 Wisconsin residents on the Forbes list this year. Tonight, mostly clear, lows around 50. Tomorrow, sunshine, highs in the upper 60s. And Friday, sunshine, highs in the mid-70s. Currently, it's 72 degrees in Milwaukee, 71 in Waukesha. For 1510 AM, WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. My name is Brian Kelly.
The following program is a presentation of DC Communications, LLC. Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back. Hour 2 of the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. And Dom, we certainly are going to talk a little bit of Trump.
Oh, God, do we have to?
And him insulting Gold Star widows. But before we do that, Dom, a few more Walker bashes. This one, courtesy of our friends, our frenemies, if you will, Kircher and Company at PolitiFact, Wisconsin. And today they weren't targeting any of our recent guests, although Tony Evers has been on this fine show. He, of course, a Democratic gubernatorial candidate, the current superintendent of the Department of Public Instruction. And what is it that Tony had to say about the job performance of Governor Scott Walker?
On Wednesday, October 4th, 2017, Tony Evers said this, quote, "Job creation fell by 70% in Wisconsin in 2016 under Scott Walker."
But I hear all the time, especially in this newest campaign video, how the gubernator is moving Wisconsin forward. How can both of these statements be true?
They can't.
So who's lying, the gubernator or Tony Evers?
Walker promised to create 250,000 private sector jobs by the end of his first term. The PolitiFact Walkometer, which tracks the Republicans' campaign promises, rated that pledge promise broken. The tally had only reached 130,000 by January of 2015.
I'm not sure. Was that a promise? I thought it was just a big goal in retrospect, Dom. Wait.
Yeah.
How could we clarify whether that was a promise or a big goal? I think even Tony Evers' campaigns asked this very same question.
Well, we have a collage that was put together a couple of years ago, Crudy. Still very relevant now. It's about 50 seconds.
The classics never get old.
No.
Stairway to Heaven. And Scott Walker's jobs promise.
Let's play it, Brian, please.
The 250,000 is my floor, not my ceiling. I think it's at least 250,000 jobs.
We're going to do well with the voters because what I hear overwhelmingly is they want help with jobs.
250,000 is a minimum. It's just the base.
I was elected last year largely because I have a plan, a specific detailed plan to help the private sector of our state create 250,000 jobs.
Well, the only campaign I'm focused in on is to create 250,000 jobs here in the state. And I think as long as I stay focused on that, as long as we try to bring, at least in the legislature, Republicans and Democrats together to help the people of the state create more jobs, I think we're going to be fine.
I'll be judged in my state, and I suppose ultimately by anybody else, by how effective I am at helping the people of our state create 250,000 jobs.
Is this a campaign promise, something you want to be held to?
Absolutely.
Is this a campaign promise? Absolutely.
I was thinking, free bird!
See? Continuing on in the PolitiFact, we also rated as true a claim that as of June of 2017, Walker was still short on his 250,000 job pledge, Crudy, as the job total in June of 2017 has only reached 180,000.
And when was he elected initially? November of 2010. Inaugurated in January of 2011. And I realize a few months have ticked by. How'd we do in the state of Wisconsin in the month of September, Dom?
My recollection, Michael, you know how my memory is, but I think the small sample survey that came out said that we lost over 8,000 jobs.
Like 8,800 jobs in the month of September.
Almost 9,000 jobs.
Now, that's not the gold standard. That's long since been abandoned by Governor Walker when it's not convenient because, of course, the job creation here in the state of Wisconsin is going backwards. And as Tony Evers points out, we've seen the erosion of job creation in the state of Wisconsin. And Governor Scott Walker, he's throwing his best tax cuts at it. Manufacturers, agribusiness, they got a 0.4% effective tax rate. The rest of us chumps, we got to pay fair taxes. Not those guys, though, not the manufacturers. So we made a $350 million annual investment, air quotes, in manufacturers not paying any damn taxes, 0.4%. And we saw a loss of nearly 4,000 jobs in the sector, a loss of nearly $400 million in wage in the sector. So the governor's best idea to basically throw $350 million back to rich manufacturing interest caused a net job loss in the state of Wisconsin. Trickled down economics didn't work out quite as planned, or maybe it worked exactly as planned. And above and beyond that, what are we talking about? Governor sucks. I'm losing my train of thought.
The jobs. Evers claim that 2016 saw a 70% decline in job growth. Here's a couple of things. Let's get to it. Back to PolitiFact.
I know I have a better point than the governor sucks, although that's a valid point.
To back Evers' claim, the campaign provided to PolitiFact a full TV news story, which was aired in May of 2017 on WKOW in Madison. The story said the increase in private sector jobs in Wisconsin in 2016 was 70% lower than the increase in 2015, and that figure was based on data given to the station by the Walker administration. The original source of the data was the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics quarterly census of employment.
That is the
wages.
gold standard, right? The quarterly BLS, Tom?
When we asked Walker's campaign organization for a response, and were referred to Wisconsin Republican Party spokesman Alec Zimmerman. He cited a June 2017 opinion article in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel by a fellow at the Conservative Manhattan Institute, which called Wisconsin's job growth over 6 years extraordinarily strong, and told us, quote,
predicated on what?
Well, of course, they're changing the metric. Here's the quote. For someone to talk about Wisconsin's job growth without leaving out the fact that the state is exceeding what most economists consider to be full employment not only ignores a critical factors, but gives a very skewed impression of Wisconsin's economy. We aren't talking about job losses.
Sometimes
is about
we are.
Slower job gains, and gains that are slower because we are at or near full employment is a good thing.
Well, I remembered my point, Dom. It was the actual job creation numbers for 2016. They seemed quite anemic to my memory.
They were. For 2011 through 2015, the number of private sector jobs rose by roughly 30 to 38,000 per year. 30,000 to 38,000 per year for those 4 years. But in 2016, the increase was 66% lower than the increase in 2015, nearly 70%, figure that Evers claimed.
Do me a favor, go up that chart to the year before the gubernator became governor.
What, 2010 actual increase in private sector jobs?
You realize that was on the back end of the recession, right?
33,658.
When Jim Doyle, the prior governor, had the 33,000 plus private sector job growth in his last year of governor, the state of Wisconsin was 11th in the nation in job growth. And then the gubernator hit the scene, and while some of his numerical numbers came close or even exceeded Jim Doyle's last year, the economic environment was entirely different. And while we were languishing post-Act 10, trailing all of our neighbors in the lower quartile of the entire United States, well, everybody else was doing just a little better. So for Zimmerman or any of the other Republicans to, throw a little mud in your eye and say, look over there, that's really what's important for you to note, I would note the fact that we only created less than 13,000 jobs last year, and I've seen numerical numbers that demonstrate a job creation of under 12,000 jobs for the entire year. So to say that that's not significant, we're fully employed. We'll tell that to, 4.2% of Wisconsinites? And if you believed Trump, all you Walker-embracing, Trump-loving SOBs,
20, 30,
42% unemployment.
Who knows?
So if you use the U6 number, and if you imply that there are, disabled people that should be back in the workforce, maybe grandma should get a side hustle. If that's your implication as you're telling the pro pee in a cup, hate welfare kind of people, if you're doing videos for them, gubernator, maybe you need to stand behind your record of job creation, because you cannot tell me everyone in the state of Wisconsin is gainfully employed at a family supporting wage. Minimum wage. And here's the one I love. There's 45,000 jobs on the Department of Workforce Development website. Yeah, anyone that wants to join the military and be Trump's cannon fodder, you go right ahead. And I have no doubt there are jobs available here in the state of Wisconsin, but they're not all family-sustaining jobs. And a lot of people are duct taping 2 and 3 jobs together. But you can't tell me we're at full employment. Hell, we're not even gainfully employed here.
PolitiFact wraps it up, puts a bow on it, Crudy, and says this. For 2011 through 2015, the number of private sector jobs rose by roughly 30 to 38,000 per year. But, as you mentioned, in 2016, the increase was 66% lower, nearly the 70% figure Evers claimed. And for the record there, Crudy, we went from 38,000 jobs created in 2015 to just under 13,000 jobs in 2016. The rating continues. He's essentially on target. Where clarification is needed is that Walker's performance is only one of the many factors affecting job growth. We rate Evers' statement mostly true.
Did I not just hear the governor in his own video, that FGA video, wasn't he bragging about his economy? I need more jobs in my economy.
Yes.
I.
Yes. Very, very egotistical. That
you
man
would almost think he created all the jobs in the private sector himself through some sort of magic pixie dust, Tom.
Well, don't you know, Crudy, government creates jobs.
Well, he's been trying. He's been picking winners. The winners, of course, manufacturers and commerce. They give him back a lot of money. At least the WMC does. So they're the winners. The 0.4% income tax recipient people, they're the winners. You know who the losers are? Us!
Anyone who's not getting a 0.4% income tax rate.
Where's the equity? I mean, Governor Walker got elected initially by complaining about the inequity of the teachers getting summers off, or perhaps getting a higher portion of their benefits paid for than you might get in the private sector.
Yes, that's
and that was a
exactly
good
what he
enough
did.
reason to divide and conquer the state of Wisconsin, to use a political wedge issue to make good Republicans hate their kids' teachers, turn them into villains. You want to know why we aren't growing jobs as quickly as other states in this nation are growing jobs?
Why?
Because of Walker's policies. And I would say most importantly, at least if I'm a working stiff, and I am, wage growth. How's the wage growth been? When you got a governor who attacks the unions, collective bargaining rights through Act 10, through right to work, through the rollback of prevailing wage, through failing to raise the minimum wage, and oh yeah, all his job promises become big goals in the rearview mirror, and he totally dismisses the, tattooed on his forehead promise of 250,000 jobs. We're working on 8 years. He's still not there yet.
He's barely over 180,000 jobs to my math, Crudy. He promised 250,000 jobs. His campaign rollout is there's more to do. Yeah, no doubt. Maybe you should step aside, young man.
We better hope for some revision of last month's BLS small survey, because last month, state of Wisconsin lost 8,800 jobs. I know at least 8,800 people that don't think the state of Wisconsin are fully employed. They're not. Come back with us. More devil's advocates. Got to go in one ear and right out the other. Don't believe that propaganda. More of us on WRD 1510 AM. Opening up the phone lines right now to you at 844-967-2789.
But you know whenever it goes in one ear and right out the other. People talking if you kiss the back of my hand.
I don't think the heavy stuff's gonna come down for quite a while.
Are you with me?
So I got that going for me, which is nice.
Scott Walker thinks Wisconsin should once again hire him as governor.
You wouldn't hire me to be a neurosurgeon.
This is a person who has not worked in the private sector since 1993.
You wouldn't hire me to run condos. You wouldn't hire me to run HP.
And has made his political career.
You probably wouldn't hire me to run the United States Senate.
By using divisive tactics to the benefit of his corporate donors.
First step is we're going to deal with collective bargaining for all public employee unions. Because you divide and conquer.
Now he supports the largest publicly funded government subsidy of a foreign corporation in American history.
They can go suck lemons.
And Scott Walker has yet to live up to his first campaign promise to create 250,000 jobs.
Is this a campaign promise? Something you want to be held to?
Absolutely.
Scott Walker, we the people are done sucking your lemons. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property, or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009, or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
Hi, this is Brad Saug, owner of Zero Res Madison Carpet Cleaning. Zero Res is the best new technology in carpet cleaning. We have a patented process using empowered water, a high-tech process in which we force the water to act like soap. It doesn't want to stay in that state. It's jacked up and it's angry and it wants to hit the dirt and then it neutralizes. When we're done, all that's left in your carpet is just light moisture. In the end, you get the cleanest, greenest, healthiest carpet cleaning available. Call us at 848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it backward or forward, it's the right way to clean.
Pete's Fruit Market, a family-owned business serving Milwaukee for more than a generation, now has a brand new second location at the corner of North Avenue and Martin Luther King Drive in Milwaukee's Brunsville neighborhood. The new store is open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week and always features the freshest fruits and vegetables at the lowest prices. In addition to offering the best produce, Pete's Fruit Market is also a full-line grocery store featuring fresh meats and delicious deli items. Pete's Fruit Market, Milwaukee's best produce.
Going through divorce is a very emotional time in someone's life, and when I went through my first divorce, I really needed someone to help me through the legal aspects of what my rights were. That's why I got in contact with Lawton & Cates.
The attorneys at Lawton & Cates. It's who you turn to for legal advice. 282-6200 or lawtoncates.com.
When you need an attorney, trust the voice of experience. The only choice, Lawton & Cates.
I don't know if you know the Devil's Advocates, but they are kind of a big deal.
Well, you guys are having a good show so far.
Hey, could you say that again? Just not for our sake, Paul, but for the sake of the audience.
Yeah, tell everybody once again what a great show we are having.
You guys have a good show almost every day.
Wow, almost. All right, thanks for calling, Paul. I'm just kidding.
Okay, every day.
Tweet some shade at you, Paul. The Devil's Advocates, weekday afternoons on 1510 AM, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
When they go low, we get high. Dom and Krutz are the Devil's Advocates.
And we are back from the 420 break. Thank you so much for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, 1510 AM WRRD. We do this fine program on Facebook, YouTube, on Twitter at Devil Radio, and always have time for your calls, 844-967-2789.
Dominic, there has been a mystery afoot here in the state of Wisconsin. Who gave Alex Walker permission to use a state vehicle to go move buddies on campus?
Maybe he just stole the keys.
The Associated Press. Now, this will not clear up all the mysteries.
Ooh.
In fact, this one opens almost more questions, but let me jump in. Police video shows Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker's son never identified himself as the governor's son during a traffic stop, but offered to get out and walk to the governor's mansion.
So, as far as the police know, some snot-nosed kid who's doubling up on a van seat decides and offers to the police, I'll get out of the car and go walk to the governor's mansion.
Officer. I'll walk. A Maple Bluff police officer pulled over a state van near the mansion on August 18th because 3 people were in a 2-person front seat. One of them was Alex Walker. The officer's body camera shows Alex Walker offered several times to get out and walk back to the mansion and have the Capitol Police drive him to his friend's new downtown Madison apartment.
What?
Because they're there at his beck and call.
He's going to call Sergeant David Davis to pick his ass up.
Hey, meathead, I need you.
I need a ride.
I wish I had the Capitol Police to be my personal chauffeur.
Wouldn't that be nice?
They talk about limousine liberals.
Yeah.
Alex Walker said the driver was a state employee, but didn't speak his name. The governor's spokesman didn't immediately reply to an email inquiring about the worker's identity.
State employee. So was that state employee getting paid by the state while
to chauffeur the Walker son around?
I mean, these are just legitimate questions. I mean, we know the Walker administration has a tendency, let's call it, to use state employees for their own personal gain, as shown by the conviction in Milwaukee County of some of his subordinates campaigning on county time. Those are my tax dollars, Crudy.
You know, American people and the media, perhaps, have been so in an uproar about the Trump administration flying around first class. Where is the outrage when Alex Walker, who last time I checked is not a current employee of the Walker administration, although he did have that swell job with the 527 during the campaign, $1,500 a month for being the governor's kid.
I mean, that's not bad.
That's a better allowance than I pay my kids. The Wankinator son did not identify himself to police. And, of course, the Goobinator, no comment. Come back with us. Join us on the phones, 844-967-2789. Your opinions welcome.
anarchist.
Good people don't smoke marijuana.
Danny, this isn't Russia. Is this Russia? This isn't Russia, is it? I don't think so.
Hi, I'm Crudy. I'm here with Bill Carroll, president of Teamsters Local 344. Bill, why are you union? Teamster strong.
Well, Crudy, our strength comes from our membership. The Teamsters are North America's strongest labor union with 1.4 million members.
Bill, what does the Teamsters do for the next generation?
The same thing that the Teamsters have done for the last 100 years, assisting groups of workers in negotiating improvements in their wages, hours, and working conditions.
Where do people go if they want to know more about the Teamsters, more about joining the union?
There's 3 easy options. They can call Local 344 at 414-258-4545. They can contact us through our website. That's local344.org. Local, the number is 344.org, or they can contact us through the Local 344 Facebook page.
Be union strong. Join Teamsters 344. Be like Crudy. Be like News Talk 1510 AM. Stand with the unions. Join the Teamsters. Local344.org.
You are listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, WRRD, 1510 AM, Milwaukee, Waukesha. There is not a gun to my head right now.
In Wisconsin, the laws are the same for bicyclists and motorists, so if you bike, ride with the traffic and obey signs and lights. Whether you ride a bike or drive a car, you must yield the right of way to pedestrians at marked and unmarked crosswalks. At intersections, always look for pedestrians before making a turn and slow down in school zones and neighborhoods to keep our kids safe. Share and be aware. We're all responsible. Visit shareandbeaware.org to learn more.
So, Jesse, why should someone buying a home pay for an agent when they can go online or call a number on the for sale sign?
Great question. First of all, never call the number on a sign to see a home. That's the seller's agent, and they don't represent your interests. If they show you the home outside of an open house, you forfeit your ability to have someone negotiate in your corner to buy that house at no cost to you.
Well, with interest rates still at historic lows, how can buyers still get a great deal and protect their rights?
Step 1, find a buyer's agent that you trust.
Like you?
Like me. I will find the home that best fits your needs, anticipate problems, and negotiate on your behalf from the offer through closing day. And the best part is that the buyer doesn't have to pay a dime for me to represent them.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, they're honest. Whether buying or selling in Madison or Dane County, call Solidarity Realty 608-284-9311 or find them at solidarityrealty.com.
Hello, my name is Earl Ingram, morning show host on Resistance Radio 1510 AM WRRD at a new time slot, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday, Saturdays noon to 3. Join us at 844-967-2789, 844-967-2789. Stream us at newstalk1510am.com. Spread the word. Earl Ingram on Resistance Radio 1510 AM WRRD 7 to 9. I'm back.
Good afternoon. It's 4:32 for 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. My name is Brian Kelly. A juvenile prison teacher who was attacked by an inmate at Lincoln Hills is putting some of the blame on the governor's office. She said the juvenile detention center is a more dangerous place now because of how the Walker administration responded to a recent court order. The teacher, Pandora Lobach, had to go to the hospital after she was punched in the face and knocked out. Lincoln Hills is located over 200 miles north of Milwaukee, just outside of Wausau. Tonight, mostly clear, lows around 50. Tomorrow, sunshine, highs in the upper 60s. And Friday, sunshine, highs in the mid-70s. Currently, it is 71 degrees in Milwaukee and 69 in Waukesha. For 1510 AM, WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. My name is Brian Kelly. Devil's Advocates continues now.
Save the $2 on tomorrow's paper. Listen to the Devil's Advocates today.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Tom, you told me you want to stay here in Wisconsin. Plenty to talk about.
And we'll get to the Trump atrocities of the day. But it just continues to happen here in the state of Wisconsin. And this one kind of sets me on fire a little bit, Crudy, because we don't know what the hell's going on. Matthew DeFore from the Wisconsin State Journal reports today. The Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation delayed a vote on a nearly $3 billion incentive package for the Taiwanese manufacturer Foxconn until November after an unspecified problem was discovered with the deal. Board members were set to vote on Tuesday.
I'm sure it wasn't any sort of a big problem, Dom.
Senator Tim Carpenter, a Democrat from Milwaukee, declined to describe the problem, but characterized it as a nuclear bomb that, if it had not been addressed, would have resulted in a contract that would not have protected taxpayers whatsoever.
Are we sure that that was not intentional?
WEDC Board Chairwoman Lisa Maurer confirmed the vote was pushed back because of a particular concern, but also declined to provide specifics. She said it was detected late in the negotiating process. We want to get this right, Maurer said. When something goes awry, you step back and you address that specific issue, and that is what's going to happen.
Foxconn, mostly Con, has pledged to invest $10 billion and create up to 13,000 jobs at a new LCD manufacturing facility in Mount Pleasant in Racine County. In return, the state plans to give the company nearly $2.85 billion in refundable tax credits. That means cash, people, for jobs and for construction of the campus. The company would be exempt from another $150 million in sales tax. What a sweet deal. Be eligible for lower utility rates than the rest of us get. Be exempt from some environmental regulations that every other company would have to abide by. And the state won't break even on the investment till 2043. And if you believe Tim Carpenter's characterization of a nuclear bomb, this could have gone forward without any protections for the taxpayers whatsoever. And it's not.
No,
there's
continue.
more.
Yeah,
there's
please
more. There's some Ginsu knives as well, Dom. Foxconn also stands to receive a $100 million incentive as part of the $764 million tax incremental financing district for infrastructure improvements offered by local officials in Racine County. Now, explain this to me. Foxconn is going to invest $10 billion, and we're going to give them $3 billion plus exempt them from $150 million in sales tax plus all those other regulations. But then we got to give them another cool $100 million cash. Just a throw in, here you go. If a corporation has $10 billion to invest, I mean, that's 1,000 million. A billion, 1,000 million. So this is 10,000 million. Yet we've got to give them, what, $100 million sweetener out of the local tax incentive financing?
Remember, North Carolina offered them $570 million for 8,800 jobs.
But Dom, something is incongruent about this little special $100 billion throw-in. It should be insignificant relative to the massive investment that's being claimed. Why would you need the $100 million sweetener? I mean, really, why would you need to go there? Something doesn't add up.
No, I hear you, man.
Relative to a $10 billion deal, if you don't throw the $100 million in, we're not going to build? That doesn't seem feasible.
WEDC CEO Mark Hogan declined to discuss the details of where the negotiation stands. And this is really pissing me off. And I mean, so we have Carpenter, who describes it as a nuclear bomb. We have this other chairwoman, Lisa Maurer, who says it's a concern but doesn't get into specific details. And Hogan also declined to discuss the details of where the negotiation stands.
What, you didn't expect them to negotiate behind closed doors in closed session, Dom? You thought there'd be some transparency to the expenditure of $3 billion
of your
plus
Wisconsin taxpayer dollars? Absolutely, I expect that.
You expect too much?
Well, maybe I expect a reasonable amount. Maybe we are given too little. Here's what Hogan said. We're going to take whatever time is required to get it right. It's very complex.
Hogan said kind of like healthcare.
Hogan said the delay in voting on a contract is not an indication of the company, the company is having second thoughts.
How about the taxpayers of Wisconsin
in the state?
Are we entitled to second thoughts, reconsideration, Maybe a little transparency. Can we see the deal before it's signed on the back of another frickin' cocktail napkin?
Hogan continued, I think you've seen that Foxconn has been very visible in the community in recent weeks, and I think that they're committed to it. They're moving forward as if this transaction is going to take place.
A few hedges in that statement.
There's a lot of hedging going on. The WEDC board met in closed session to discuss the contract negotiations related to the Foxconn deal, the broad strokes of which Walker and the legislature have already approved. Carpenter cast the lone vote opposing the board's move into closed session. Well, thank you for that, Mr. Carpenter. The WEDC board unanimously approved the agency's new policy for an electronics and information technology manufacturing zone, which the legislature created specifically for the Foxconn project. A couple more paragraphs, Crudy, then I'm going to let you take over. Unlike an enterprise zone, which until recently was the agency's most potent economic development tool, the new zone requires that Foxconn select a third-party accountant approved by WEDC to verify the total investment and job creation at the facility, which could break ground as soon as next spring. A contract has not been finalized between WEDC and Foxconn. Before voting, the board will review a staff underwriting report.
Oh, they're underwriting this one. How quaint.
That details the terms of the agreement and allows Foxconn staff to go forward with finalizing the contract. WEDC spokesman Mark Maley said the board won't review or vote on the actual contract.
So even the board, including the lone Dem, Senator Carpenter, don't get to review the contract?
No, they get an underwriting report that describes the terms of the agreement.
Let me read on. In an interview with the Wisconsin State Journal, Carpenter, who voted against the Foxconn bill, expressed frustration that the board wouldn't be able to review the contract details. Details, schmeetails.
It's only $3-4 billion. Don't worry about it. We'll do it in closed session because we know better than everybody else. And who wants their government in the light?
But closed session implies that there at least would be a board review process. This statement says there will be no board review process. There will be a staff underwriting. And let's not forget, WEDC does not exactly have a wonderful history. I mean, I'm encouraged by the fact that they're using a third-party auditor because left to their own devices, WEDC doesn't count the money or the jobs.
But the third-party auditor is approved by WEDC. So what?
Let me finish this thought, Dom. In an interview, as we mentioned, Carpenter, who voted against the Foxconn bill, expressed frustration that the board wouldn't be able to review the contract details. He said he received the first draft of the underwriting document Friday and then received 2 revisions on Monday. Here's a quote. "There's no way I could swear on a Bible and say I knew exactly what was in that staff report." He said he raised several questions about language in the report. One issue he raised was the language didn't appear to compel WEDC to rescind tax credits if the company wasn't complying with the terms of the contract.
That's not
There's
language.
There's no enforcement mechanism.
That's not language. Those are terms. You know, language is how it's described. These are specific terms that are left out.
No enforcement mechanism if they fail to comply is what's being implied here. I read on briefly. We're near the conclusion of this Mantifor piece. He said, he being Carpenter, said he asked for the vote to be delayed, but he didn't learn it would be delayed until Tuesday morning after a separate issue that he had not raised was discovered by WEDC officials. And here's a final quote. "If WEDC has been secretive in the past with protecting taxpayers, they're continuing that to the nth degree," Carpenter said.
Oh man, this is not good.
You don't need to know nothing. You get no stinking contracts. You get no ability to review the contract, not even if you're on the WEDC board.
If you don't like it, you can go suck lemons.
And they were ready to vote on this deal yesterday that apparently didn't provide any enforcement mechanism contractually. Tim Carpenter, and we don't even know if this is the part that Tim Carpenter referred to as a nuclear bomb.
I don't believe it is. I think that's another issue. Well, what could possibly go wrong? Governor Walker's trying to do a deal.
I don't think I'd hire that guy to do this job. I'm just not clear I would. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates. There's only one job you want us to do. We're on that wall. You need us on that wall. And the wall is right here on Brady Street. Come back. Join us here on the phones, 844-967-2789, or tweet us out at Devil Radio.
If this factory goes under, the whole town goes under.
I have no doubt you will go down.
And that's when the whores come in.
Yes, the Donald is good.
Scott Walker thinks Wisconsin should once again hire him as governor.
You wouldn't hire me to be a neurosurgeon.
This is a person who has not worked in the private sector since 1993.
You wouldn't hire me to run condos. You wouldn't hire me to run HP.
And has made his political career.
You probably wouldn't hire me to run the United States Senate.
By using divisive tactics to the benefit of his corporate donors.
First step is we're going to deal with collective bargaining for all public employee unions. Because you divide and conquer.
Now he supports the largest publicly funded government subsidy of a foreign corporation in American history.
You know, they can go suck lemons.
And Scott Walker has yet to live up to his first campaign promise to create 250,000 jobs.
Is this a campaign promise? Something you want to be held to?
Absolutely.
Scott Walker, we the people are done sucking your lemons. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
Hi, I'm Todd Stryker, President and CEO of Five Nines. Have you got your head in the clouds on how to manage IT for your enterprise? We can make your dreams a reality. With our enterprise cloud technology, consulting, servers, networks, and hosting, we'll manage your IT so you can focus on running your business. Consider Five Nines your personal enterprise IT solution. Enjoy technology. For more information, visit fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
It's a lot easier to measure how many times students use a semicolon correctly in an essay.
Educated educators talking education.
Than it is to measure how many wonderful ideas are in that essay.
Busted Pencils.
There is no teacher shortage.
With Dr. Tim Slecker.
There is a teacher exit.
Featuring Matt Damon's mom.
You want to know what my mom would say?
We've had an intrusion into education.
Busted Pencils Radio. Saturdays at 11 on Resistance Radio.
I was on Zero Res Madison's Facebook page the other day, and they have almost 2,000 testimonials from local customers. Apparently, I'm not the only one stoked on how cool this company is. A green technology that actually works better and doesn't cost more. It's a no-brainer. I'm in. We are starting our own Devil's Advocates revolution to free your carpets from harsh chemicals and soaps. Call Zero Res today and ask for the Diamond Crude Special 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward. It's the right way to clean.
Have you outgrown your house? Are you sick of apartment living? Not ready to buy but know you need to move? Hi folks, this is Tom Hartman for CCL Management in Middleton. You should consider moving up to one of the finer rental homes CCL Management represents. Unique houses and condos, always clean, most are pet friendly. Visit cclmanagement.com today to find your new home. CCL Management, Dane County's premier leasing and property management company.
Call CCL Management at 833-0009. That's 833-0009 or visit cclmanagement.com today.
Mark your calendars. Wednesday, November 8th, the ACLU of Wisconsin's Bill of Rights celebration, a year of resistance at the Italian Conference Center in Milwaukee. Dinner and award ceremony starts at 5. After party starts at 8. Dom.
Crudy, the keynote speaker, is the National ACLU Political Director, Faz Shakir. Tickets for the whole evening, $100 per person, or just come to party with the Devil's Advocates and music from Madison's own Whiskey Farm for just $25.
The ACLU is honoring Planned Parenthood, the NAACP Youth Commandos of 1967, the brave plaintiffs in their case against conditions at Lincoln Hills, and the lead plaintiff in the voter ID case.
The ACLU of Wisconsin's Bill of Rights celebration, Wednesday, November 8th. Go to aclu-wi.org for tickets and more information.
I only drink when I feel good. I've got what I love and I love what I've got. It just so happens I'm happy a lot.
I
don't know if you know the Devil's Advocates, but they are kind of a big deal.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, WRRD 1510 AM. On the phones, 844-967-2789.
Dominic, we got a fine guest joining us for the happy hour. State Rep David Crowley from right here in Milwaukee. He'll be along at 5:05, but from here to there, nothing but your fine opinions and phone calls, 844-967-2789.
Paul, you're first. Thanks for calling. What do you got for us today?
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Devils. You're bringing me down today. 2022 makes me throw up now.
2022? How did we get that far in the future, man? I'm worried about 18, buddy.
If he gets 4 more years, I mean, holy smokes. Hey, you know what? To me, it's simple. If you can't fix the roads, which is simple, I think, you can't govern. And by spring, I figure we'll be in the hold about $2 billion in the roads because winter's really hard on them. And the last way I'll say, what's No Roads Walker going to drive his Harley on? You guys have a great day.
Well, Minnesota roads, Paul. That's an easy answer.
You know, he'll love to go back to Iowa. You know, it's flat down there. He can always try to, run for president again. 844-967-2789.
Rode around with Jody Ernst last year in Iowa. How'd that work out for him in the caucuses?
Did he ever make it to the caucus?
Did he do the full Grassley?
I don't
Did he
think
visit
99 counties?
All 99 Iowa counties?
Are there 99 Iowa counties?
That's what Grassley...
It is 99, okay.
No, that's what Terry Branstad told us at the Iowa Freedom Summit.
Gotta hit them all.
Gotta do the full Grassley.
Well, we're in Waukesha County. Let's talk to Philip. Hey, man, you're next. Thanks for calling. What are your thoughts today?
Hey, guys. You know what you guys need to do? You need to change this into the Wisconsin Comedy Hour. When you start talking about Scott Walker and the Republicans and what they're doing, they are such a joke. This is you gotta drop out for the governor who doesn't know anything about business or doesn't have any common sense. He's the guy that gets a call from someone saying they're from the IRS and they have to give him his credit card number. He's probably been hoodwinked into doing that too, and it just doesn't surprise me. I mean, this party. They never ever do anything that's good. I mean, all they do is, like your commercial says, is take care of the millionaires and billionaires, and they don't know how. They have to have these millionaires and billionaires tell them what to do because they're incapable of legislating. I mean, Scott Walker is. I mean, this administration, this government in Wisconsin's got to be one of the worst in the country. And I know, to quote you guys, and I've been saying this for years too, the Mississippi of the North, I mean, you've got a bunch of Gomers running this state, and they're getting taken to the cleaners by this Foxconn deal. And I mean, I've been around for a long time, and it's really bad when these politicians know less than I do. I mean, and
right.
It's
yeah.
And I'm not I'm a salesman. I'm not a professional politician, but you got a moron running the president, the country, and then you got all these other idiot Republicans, just controlling it. And the thing that's sad is they keep getting elected because of all the money they get, and people aren't smart enough to do anything with research. They they listen to Fox TV. And it's like, what are we going to do to turn the tide? I mean, it just gets worse every single minute, not day or not week. Every minute, there's something that they do that's dumber than what they just did 10 seconds ago.
Philip,
Help me, guys, help me.
Here's
from the ledge here.
Here's something that's going to discourage you further. Governor Scott Walker. I mean, he's grinning from ear to ear. He's found another sugar daddy. The newest re-election campaign will be financed entirely by his sugar daddy, a Nigerian prince. They met on the internet.
Yeah. Oh, my God. You remember that movie, Coming to America, with Eddie Murphy?
Yeah.
God, these guys, it never ceases to amaze me. And, the thing is that it's easy for these people to do this because these people have no character. They have no honor. They're just despicable people. and they'll do anything for a buck. And they don't care. They're shameless.
He beat Joe Lewis's ass.
Thanks for the call, Philip. We do appreciate it. I would say this. I think there are some...
That's beautiful. What is that, velvet?
I think there are...
policeman from the What's Going Down episode of That's My Mama.
Listen, you can have different political views, but I don't think that necessarily we can broad brush all Republicans. But certainly I have questions and qualms about anybody who voted for this Foxconn deal without really knowing what they voted for just because the Republican leadership told them to vote for it. That is not representing your constituency, and I've said it many times, Philip, and I'll say it again. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot serve your party, and you cannot serve your constituency.
Van Wangard knows that. He now has his legislative business cards printed in Taiwanese.
844.
He ain't serving you anymore in Wisconsin.
967-2789. Who says I don't read Taiwanese? Pizza Box Mike, you're going to have the last word this hour. What do you got for us today, buddy?
Man, there's a lot happening on the square at the Capitol. Right now, the news is here to cover Senator Carpenter found a glitch in the Foxconn deal.
A nuclear bomb.
Yeah. So anyway... I'm up here hanging out with former Chief Charles Tubbs. We're going to go up to the police memorial and watch that vandal attorney general talk about the vandalism that happened at the memorial. A perfect guy to have talk about that. You know, if anybody's been more harsh to Wisconsin citizens than this guy as far as doing his job and defending the Constitution, man, I'm you know what? I know he's going to be nervous when he sees me.
Who's that, Schimmel?
Yeah, I'm just going to stand there with Chief Tubbs. Maybe he'll be nervous because there's a real man. You know, you can shake hands with people around here, and when you shake hands with Charles Tubbs, you know you shook hands with a guy that worked. He doesn't have them soft hands like Tom.
Nah.
Put her in the vice!
Hey, just because I use lotion every day doesn't mean I don't work hard.
The left hand, not nearly as soft as the right hand, Michael. I've noted that.
Jerkins lotion.
Jeez.
Okay, never mind.
Any other thoughts?
No, I'm just glad that every time I, get done working and do something and walk through the Capitol, there's something going on, something to witness, and another guy to try and look me in the eye.
Witnessing history, Mike. Thanks for the call, buddy.
Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates. Got a fine guest joining us at the top of the 5. That's Rep. David Crowley, a Democrat from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. But let's throw one more story out there for people's consideration, Dom. Bill Glauber, Journal-Sentinel, Wisconsin GOP Senate candidates Kevin Nicholson and Leah Buchmer weigh in on Mitch McConnell. Oh, man. You know what? This story can wait because this song is priceless. And I'd hate to step on it because, Dom, the children are our future. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates.
Thank you. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride. Make it easier.
Some of the good stuff, right? Coming up.
Want a Coke? Join the show?
Enjoy, young man.
I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, you can't take away my dignity. Because the greatest love of all inside of me. Yeah. Sexy chocolate.
Damn, that boy can sing.
Are you with me?
In Wisconsin, the laws are the same for bicyclists and motorists, so if you bike, ride with the traffic and obey signs and lights. Whether you ride a bike or drive a car, you must yield the right of way to pedestrians at marked and unmarked crosswalks. At intersections, always look for pedestrians before making a turn and slow down in school zones and neighborhoods to keep our kids safe. Share and be aware. We're all responsible. Visit shareandbeaware.org to learn more. Pete's Fruit Market, a family-owned business serving Milwaukee for more than a generation, now has a brand new second location at the corner of North Avenue and Martin Luther King Drive in Milwaukee's Brunsville neighborhood. The new store is open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week and always features the freshest fruits and vegetables at the lowest prices. In addition to offering the best produce, Pete's Fruit Market is also a full-line grocery store featuring fresh meats and delicious deli items. Pete's Fruit Market, Milwaukee's best produce.
So, Jesse, why should someone buying a home pay for an agent when they can go online or call a number on the for sale sign?
Great question. First of all, never call the number on a sign to see a home. That's the seller's agent, and they don't represent your interests. If they show you the home outside of an open house, you forfeit your ability to have someone negotiate in your corner to buy that house at no cost to you.
Well, with interest rates still at historic lows, how can buyers still get a great deal and protect their rights?
Step 1, find a buyer's agent that you trust.
Like you?
Like me. I will find the home that best fits your needs, anticipate problems, and negotiate on your behalf from the offer through closing day. And the best part is that the buyer doesn't have to pay a dime for me to represent them.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, they're honest. Whether buying or selling in Madison or Dane County, call Solidarity Realty 608-284-9311 or find them at solidarityrealty.com.
You are listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, WRRD, 1510 AM, Waukesha, Milwaukee.
Suspect on the run, soldier deaths in question. I'm Barbara Cusack. The manhunt continues for Roddy Prince, who is wanted in the shooting of 5 people at a Maryland workplace and is also suspected in shooting a man in Delaware. 3 people were killed, 2 critically wounded in Maryland. Harford County Sheriff Jeffrey Gaylor says Prince was left seen a black 2008 GMC Acadia SUV with Delaware tags.
In the Northeast Corridor, there is a search for this vehicle and this suspect. Every police department, every police officer is aware of who is being looked for these crimes here and for the crime up in Delaware.
White House correspondent Jeff Zeleny says details surrounding the deaths of Sergeant LaDavid Johnson and 3 other soldiers in Niger remain clouded.
Senator John McCain, the chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, said that they are not getting all the information that they need about what actually led to this ambush. Asked if the Trump administration was being forthcoming and all it knew about this, Senator McCain's answer was no.
President Trump first said he could support a bipartisan health care bill to help shore up markets, even temporarily, but now he's done an about-face.
Mr. Trump's new attack on the bill is that it would resurrect cost-sharing payments he is trying to kill. They go to insurance companies, so lower-income patients have reduced copays and deductibles. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer accusing the president of zigzag governing.
The president ought to know what the bill is about before he tweets.
Senate Republicans like the bills giving states some flexibility for lower coverage, lower premium options under Obamacare. Bob Costantini, Washington.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions refused to answer questions about his discussions with President Trump on Russia in testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee. Sessions also denied lying to Congress about his own contacts with Russians during the 2016 election campaign. Dow closed above 23,000 for the first time after adding 160 points. The S&P and NASDAQ up slightly. I'm Barbara Cusack.
So what would you do with an extra $500 a month in your budget? $500. This isn't hypothetical, by the way. This is something you may need to think about very soon if you decide to become a member of Medi-Share. Medi-Share is a way to pay for your health care, and typically it costs $500 less per month for a family versus other health care plans. So seriously, think about this. You could pay off loans, pay down a mortgage, save the money for retirement, donate to charity. That would be a big deal. But you know what? Here's the best thing. Medi-Share works. It has 250,000 members, and it's growing fast. With Medi-Share, not only do you save, you don't have to pay for things you don't believe in either, and that is a beautiful thing too. So here's how you can find out more, and you might actually wind up saving even more than $500 a month. So check into it. Here's the number. Call 844-91-BIBLE. That's 844-91-BIBLE. Now available in Montana. Call 844-91-BIBLE.
The Dodgers take on the Cubs in Game 4 of the National League Championship Series tonight.
The Los Angeles Dodgers can finish off a sweep of the Chicago Cubs in Game 4 of the National League Championship Series tonight, which would clinch their first appearance in the World Series since 1988, 29 years ago. The Cubs will turn to their ace Jake Arrieta to keep their season alive. He'll be opposed by left-hander Rich Hill of the Dodgers. First pitch is just after 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm John Stolness.
And the Yankees and Astros are facing off at this hour with the American League Series tied at 2 apiece. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said the 2018 NFL Draft is heading to Dallas, Texas.
This is the first time that we will be hosting the draft at a stadium complex. We're excited by that.
And the NFL is now changing its national anthem policy to require players to stand during the national anthem. Goodell said altering language to that effect did not come up during the league's fall meeting. I'm Barbara Cusack.
If you've fallen behind on your taxes, you know that the IRS is already coming for their money, and they'll get it too by garnishing your wages or maybe even taking your home or business. They call it enforced compliance, and you'd better watch out because the penalties and interest compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. You need to call the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Solving tax issues is all they do. One call to Optima starts the process to stop the demand letters and stop aggressive collection actions. They get to work immediately, fighting to protect your assets and helping you put your tax problems behind you. The IRS writes off millions every year, and Optima knows all the ins and outs of the IRS's tax assistance programs that could save you thousands. So what are you waiting for? Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-559-8226. 800-559-8226. 800-559-8226.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit Optima Tax.
Good afternoon. It is 5:05 for 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. My name is Brian Kelly. Milwaukee-based Harley-Davidson is reporting a sharp decline in profits. The world's largest manufacturer of heavyweight motorcycles said yesterday that sales are down 40% from a year ago. The company is reporting a slowdown in both domestic and international sales. On the bright side, Harley said their share of the heavyweight motorcycle market has increased. Temporary furloughs are expected at the company's factories this fall, including the Menominee Falls location that employs about 1,000 production workers. Tonight, mostly clear, lows around 50. Tomorrow, sunshine, highs in the upper 60s. And Friday, sunshine, highs in the mid-70s. Currently, it is 71 degrees and sunny and beautiful in Milwaukee. 71 degrees and sunny and beautiful in Waukesha. For 1510 AM, WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. My name is Brian Kelly.
The following program is a presentation of DC Communications, LLC. Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, we are sliding into the 5 o'clock happy hour, and I'm happy to announce we are going to have multiple guests this hour. I am so efficient, I have booked multiple guests, Dom.
Yeah, well done, Crudy.
And we're going to start with a fine one. He is a Democratic gubernatorial candidate, Tony Evers. We welcome him right now from the top. Tony, welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
Thank you, Tony.
Absolutely.
Tony, we're talking about a little now been PolitiFacted. Was it the first of your candidacy, at least this time around, for governor, sir?
Yes, and it didn't even hurt.
I, like you, in my first historical PolitiFact, got rated mostly true. Tony,
There
I
you
was
go.
talking about Bernie Sanders. You were talking about Scott Walker. What statement, paraphrase yourself, sir, but what statement did you make? What did they rate?
Well, it was all around the issue in 2016 when the rate of increase in number of people that jobs that were created went down 70% from 1 year to the next, and that's an extraordinary decline in new jobs. So clearly, it's Governor Walker has been working on this 250,000 thing for a bunch of years now, and my guess is that it is not going to happen even by the end of this campaign when I win. But yes, it was found our statement is true, and I'm pleased that it happened. And the governor needs to own some things here, and this is one of them. He has not done what he said he's going to do for the state of Wisconsin as it relates to job creation. Actually, as most of you know, and your listeners know, that wages are stagnant at best in many areas, especially in addition to manufacturing. They're down. And so there's been a general slide in the wrong direction from the promises he made.
Well, Tony, we know the governor's done some really extraordinary things, especially for the manufacturing interest here in the state of Wisconsin. He gave them effectively, damn near a 0% tax rate. Manufacturers and agribusiness interest pay 0.4%. This seems like predicated on his claimed free market, economic thought process. This should be a big winner. But Tony, we know that the manufacturing sector specifically has seen losses. Last year, if I remember the math, sir, 3,776 jobs lost in the manufacturing sector, almost $400 million in lost wage. Tony, it almost seems like trickle-down economics doesn't work, sir.
Well, who was it? The budget director for Ronald Reagan said the exact same thing, and it doesn't work. And as we all know, and most economists would agree with us, that what gives us growth, economic growth, is not handouts. It is having a highly skilled, highly trained, highly educated workforce, and we prove that time and time again. And instead of listening to the people that know, as a state, we've decided that we'll just continue to try to incentivize, and that just doesn't work. It never has, and I'm disappointed. The Foxconn thing is a good example. $3 billion of incentives. Don't know if it's going to work. We're rolling the dice here. And if you wanted to divide that out by 72 counties, I think it's about $40 to $45 million per county that could be used for kind of Main Street entrepreneurs and Main Street business people to help them get loans. Most people are not looking for handouts. They're looking for the ability to negotiate appropriate loans at the bank that will create middle-class jobs and create money and leave the money on Main Street and not in Taiwan. So I think they've got it backwards, clearly. And I made my point, and our truth-o-meter came out pretty good, I'd say, in the Journal Sentinel.
Well, let's go back to your question again, Tony. Of course, you think that Governor Scott Walker should own the fact that private sector job growth is down 70% year over year, but they don't own it. They defend and they deflect. Alex Zimmerman, on behalf of the Wisconsin Republican Party, says, well, Tony, we're at full employment here in the state of Wisconsin. Everyone that wants a job's got a job. You can't hold us accountable. Some magazine somewhere says we're a thriving economy. Over the last 6 years, they seemingly moved the goalpost on you, Tony, but no ownership going on.
No, there isn't, and that's where we need an adult in the room, frankly, to take ownership in those types of things. I find it distressing that we have to keep pointing things out, but we don't. The number of underemployed clearly is a much higher number. The fact that I think there's about 60,000 people that counted that are employed out of the state of Wisconsin? I mean, those are some numbers that we usually don't hear about. And there's several thousands of people that have given up, and so it just the claim that we're at full employment. I think is a real stretch when we see what's actually going on in the state and see how people are not thriving. We can't expect a mom that's working a couple jobs and earning $10 an hour and really is concerned about childcare for her kids to be thriving in this economy, and because they are not.
Folks, you're listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, WRRD 1510 AM. We've got State Superintendent of Public Instruction Tony Evers. He's also a Democratic gubernatorial candidate on the line with us talking jobs. Tony, what's your philosophy on job creation? What is the role of a governor of government in general, in your opinion, sir, in facilitating, encouraging, creating jobs in the private sector?
Hello, are you there?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Restate your question.
My question for you, Tony, what's your philosophy? What is your governance regarding creating job creation in the private sector? What is the role of government or a governor in encouraging private sector job growth?
Well, certainly we need it. And so no candidate should be shying away from that, because we need it in the state of Wisconsin, and we need higher paying jobs, and we need to make sure that people have family supporting jobs. I believe, and I hear this from Main Street, I'm talking about smaller town Wisconsin, and frankly even in larger cities, is that there are entrepreneurs and business people across the state that are looking to expand their operations and expand highly paid, good paying jobs, but they're keep waiting for.
I'm afraid we might have lost the guest.
Oh, we did lose.
Well, such a fine booking I did. Tony Evers. Perhaps he can rejoin us here before the end of the segment. 844-967-2789. Tony?
You know, we talk often, and you mentioned again with this manufacturers and agricultural tax credit, a 0.4% tax rate for those entities on their profits. And you know, it's one thing to incentivize a person or a corporation to, you know, go one direction or another based on tax code. It's another thing entirely to just not tax them at the rate of your other fellow citizens and corporations to their benefit without any sort of obligation from them to create jobs. I would have it would be much more palatable for me personally, as someone who doesn't want the government involved necessarily in quote-unquote private sector job creation. I can't understand how Republicans would support Governor Walker in this bid for the largest subsidization of a foreign corporation in American history, and apparently it's not getting written up very well. There's a lot of people concerned at the Capitol right now as we speak. So if you're going to do that, if you're going to use the mechanisms, the power of government to lean on and influence private corporations, at least perhaps you should have them set up and tied to job performance, job hiring, and not just, you know, taking someone from one organization, you know, and bringing it over to another. I mean, if down in Pleasant Prairie, if Foxconn does hiring, and they're just going to take some people maybe away from Amazon, for example. Well, is that a new hire as it pertains to Foxconn, and how do you count that with Amazon? We need net job growth, not job transfer, and we certainly need hooks on any money that's going to be given to corporations and people if we're trying to encourage them to act in a particular way to create jobs in the state of Wisconsin.
Okay, I'll be down for toll roads, but only between Foxconn and the state of Illinois, where most of the labor will come from. I think we'll catch Tony Evers on the other side of this break. And also, later in the hour, David Crowley, a fine state rep, graciously has shifted a little bit in his time frame So double coverage. 2 more guests. Tony Evers will join us momentarily, and David Crowley at 5:30. More Devil's Advocates right here on WRRD 1510 AM.
Oh, Gary! Hey, what happened?
Gary. Who's Gary? Scott Walker thinks Wisconsin should once again hire him as governor.
You wouldn't hire me to be a neurosurgeon.
This is a person who has not worked in the private sector since 1993
You wouldn't hire me to run condos. You wouldn't hire me to run HP.
and has made his political career
You probably wouldn't hire me to run the United States Senate.
by using divisive tactics to the benefit of his corporate donors.
First step is we're going to deal with collective bargaining for all public employee unions. Because you divide and conquer.
Now he supports the largest publicly funded government subsidy of a foreign corporation in American history.
You know, they can go suck lemons.
And Scott Walker has yet to live up to his first campaign promise to create 250,000 jobs.
Is this a campaign promise, something you want to be held to?
Absolutely. Scott Walker, we the people are done sucking your lemons. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
Hi, I'm Anton Capella. As Chief Technology Officer at Five Nines, I work hard to be a leader in my industry, and I know the challenges posed by changing technology. It's my priority to make sure your network is up over 99% of the time. There's no question, trying to manage your own business IT is risky, costly, and time-consuming. Don't let IT overwhelm you. Learn more about Five Nines at fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
Hi, I'm Crudy. I'm here with Bill Carroll, president of Teamsters Local 344. Bill, why are you union? Teamster strong.
Well, Crudy, our strength comes from our membership. The Teamsters are North America's strongest labor union with 1.4 million members.
Bill, what does the Teamsters do for the next generation?
The same thing that the Teamsters have done for the last 100 years. Assisting groups of workers in negotiating improvements in their wages, hours, and working conditions.
Where do people go if they want to know more about the Teamsters, more about joining the union?
There's 3 easy options. They can call Local 344 at 414-258-4545. They can contact us through our website. That's local344.org. Local, the number is 344.org. Or they can contact us through the Local 344 Facebook page.
Be union strong. Join Teamsters 344. Be like Crudy. Be like News Talk 1510 AM. Stand with the unions. Join the Teamsters. Local344.org.
Warning, listening to the Devil's Advocates may expose you to opposing views.
Ron, I got to ask you, and this is in all sincerity.
Oh, it's going to be because he said Ron.
As soon as he
if it's sir,
yeah, you know it's coming.
Bam.
Senator Johnson, in all sincerity, why do you come on the show?
Because I like you guys. No, listen, it's an intelligent conversation. We discuss things, different points of view. Takes all kinds to make the world go around, and you guys are all kinds.
The Devil's Advocates, making radio great again.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, WRRD 1510 AM. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter at Devil Radio, and if you ever missed any of this fine show, feel free to go to the website, DaumenCrute.com, for podcasts and interviews.
Dominic, we welcome back Tony Evers for a few more minutes, a fine Democratic gubernatorial candidate. Tony, welcome back. Hopefully we've resolved the gremlins. But let me ask you, Tony, the worst kept secret in the state of Wisconsin, Scott Walker dropped his campaign video earlier today. First of all, have you seen it, Tony? And second of all, do you think he stole it from Sue Happ?
I have not seen it, so I can't comment whether he stole it or not. Oh, he was on Psycho, was he?
Yeah.
Harley.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Yeah, that's no, I didn't see that, but it seems a bit out of character. That said, it's no surprise that he's running. He clearly didn't win on a national stage, and now he's going to try to come back and win back here in Wisconsin. But there are so many issues that going forward that he has failed the state, and it does revolve around kind of values. What do you value? Do you value trickle down economics where things do not end up in workers' pockets, or do you value making sure that our workforce is strong and highly educated and highly skilled and receive good-paying wages? Those are different values, and I think he not only loses it as it relates to his failure economically, but it's a failure of values. People in Wisconsin value water. Clean water, whether it's a kid in Milwaukee drinking water that's not in good shape, or almost as bad as Flint, Michigan, or people in Kewaunee County who have their wells polluted because we haven't figured out how to get rid of large quantities of cow poop. Those are value issues, and I think he fails on that stage also.
Tony, calls for speculation, but do you think Walker was forced to leave the state of Wisconsin to find a long, straight piece of highway not chock full and pocked full of potholes, sir, to film that campaign video? Tony, 49th worst highways in the nation. I didn't see any leadership on that issue.
No, his leadership is drawing a line in the sand, and that is not adult behavior. I can tell you that. We need some adults in the room. I believe I fit that category, that are concerned about the constant borrowing and making sure that instead of ensuring that our kids and grandkids are going to be paying for roads that are being potholes that are being filled now. It's crazy. We need somebody that can find common ground. The Republicans and Democrats can actually agree on certain things, and I think this road thing is one of them. I think the people of Wisconsin are sick of having crappy roads, and they are willing to look at all alternatives. There should be no drawing lines in the sand here.
Folks, you're listening to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Tony Evers, Democratic gubernatorial candidate, on the line. Well, also today, Tony, the Foundation for Government Accountability rolled out their own 4-minute-ish ad of Governor Scott Walker espousing work and setting your own destiny through work and the dignity that comes with work. And to me, this seems like a precursor to some sort of attack on the food stamp subsidies, etc. Where do you stand on that in the state of Wisconsin? Are we doing a good job taking care of those who cannot take care of themselves, those who hit a hard time, or do you think some of these systems need to be redone?
No, we are not doing a good job there. I mean, you think about moms that are that may be having one or two jobs and they have difficulty finding quality daycare for their children. That is a huge responsibility, and we are not doing a good job there. We should have. You think about a small investment we could be making in early childhood care in this state. Make sure that moms and dads that are working a couple jobs or are struggling in that arena have adequate daycare, so they don't have to worry about their kids when they're at work. We talk about dignity of work. Yes, work does have dignity to it, But here we have a governor who has essentially stripped the dignity away from public sector employees, and we have the audacity to talk about dignity in jobs and Scott Walker in the same vein, in the same breath. That just doesn't cut it for me.
Tony, the governor, through coincidence perhaps, or perhaps through coordination with outside groups, seemingly is doing some of these things in concert with 501c3s, etc. We know that would be illegal anywhere else, sir, but it has been codified into law because Scott Walker broke this law prior, and the Wisconsin Supreme Court basically gave him a get-out-of-jail-free card. Well, here's the question, Tony. Scott Walker rolled out his campaign ad today. You're in a field of ever, expanding Democratic candidates. Tony, how do you distinguish yourself first from the primary field and then have enough time, energy, and resource left to beat the champ, which at this point is Scott Walker, in a general election? This is all going to happen very rapidly, Tony.
Yeah, it'll be a race to the finish there after the August primary. There's no question about it. But I believe I'll win this primary for several reasons. One is I've won 3 statewide elections by good numbers, winning 70 or 72 counties last time. Second, I've lived outside of in central Wisconsin for a good share of my life, and my kids were born and raised in many small towns across central Wisconsin where 47% of the vote comes from. And frankly, I've run stuff. I've been in charge of agencies and schools and school districts my entire adult life, and having that executive experience counts for something. So my goal is to absolutely win the primary, which I will. But during that time, I'm going to be focusing my effort around issues that divide me and Scott Walker, so that we can start that second race, the most important race, in a good place.
Well, Tony Evers, we appreciate you joining us on very short notice today. Good luck. We'll talk again soon, Tony. Stick around. More Devil's Advocates. Next up, Rep. David Crawley, going to talk about the unsafe roads. That is a common theme here in the dialogue. More Devil's Advocates, 1510 a.m.
Good luck. We're all counting on you.
I am here from the future. The bridge is out because you didn't fund the roads. Listen to 1510 a.m. WRRD, Milwaukee, Waukesha. Listen to them if you want to live.
Hi, this is Brad Saug, owner of Zero Res Madison Carpet Cleaning. Zero Res is the best new technology in carpet cleaning. We have a patented process using empowered water, a high-tech process in which we force the water to act like soap. It doesn't want to stay in that state. It's jacked up and it's angry and it wants to hit the dirt, and then it neutralizes. When we're done, all that's left in your carpet is just light moisture. In the end, you get the cleanest, greenest, healthiest carpet cleaning available. Call us at 848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it backward or forward, it's the right way to clean.
Pete's Fruit Market, a family-owned business serving Milwaukee for more than a generation, now has a brand new second location at the corner of North Avenue and Martin Luther King Drive in Milwaukee's Brunsville neighborhood. The new store is open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week and always features the freshest fruits and vegetables at the lowest prices. In addition to offering the best produce, Pete's Fruit Market is also a full-line grocery store featuring fresh meats and delicious deli items. Pete's Fruit Market, Milwaukee's best produce.
Mark your calendars. Wednesday, November 8th, the ACLU of Wisconsin's Bill of Rights celebration, a year of resistance at the Italian Conference Center in Milwaukee. Dinner and award ceremony starts at 5. After party starts at 8, Dom.
Crudy, the keynote speaker, is the National ACLU Political Director, Faz Shakir. Tickets for the whole evening, $100 per person, or just come to party with the Devil's Advocates and music from Madison's own Whiskey Farm for just $25.
The ACLU is honoring Planned Parenthood, the NAACP Youth Commandos of 1967, the brave plaintiffs in their case against conditions at Lincoln Hills, and the lead plaintiff in the voter ID case.
The ACLU of Wisconsin's Bill of Rights celebration, Wednesday, November 8th. Go to aclu-wi.org for tickets and more information.
I only drink when I feel good. I've got what I love and I love what I've got. It just so happens I'm happy a lot.
We've we've got Jesse Pica-Holtz in studio with Solidarity Realty. Jesse, why on earth are you advertising in the Milwaukee area when you help buy and sell homes in Dane County?
Simple. Since Walker's policies have taken hold 7 years ago, most new job growth in Wisconsin has happened here in Dane County because of its progressive policies. And plenty of folks who commute to or from Madison already know that many rentals here are more expensive than a fixed mortgage.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, they're honest. Whether buying or selling in Dane County, call Solidarity Realty or find them at solidarityrealty.com.
Hi, I'm Brian Kelly, and I'm host of the Wisconsin News Hour weekdays from 2 to 3 on 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Join me as I talk about politics with a focus on local news.
Man, I've got certain information, all right? Certain things have come to light.
I know enough to know what I don't know, which is more than I can say for most people.
Forget it, Donnie. You're out of your element.
The Wisconsin News Hour with Brian Kelly, weekdays from 2 to 3 on 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Good afternoon. It's 5:33 for 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. My name is Brian Kelly. Latin jazz legend Eddie Palmieri is coming to Milwaukee for a benefit concert for the people of Puerto Rico and Mexico on October 28th. Palmieri, now 80 years old, has been among the most popular Latin jazz and salsa musicians and band leaders for over 40 years. The show will take place at the Potawatomi Casino, and all proceeds will go to the American Red Cross relief efforts for Puerto Rico and Mexico. Palmieri, whose parents immigrated from Puerto Rico to New York City in the 1920s, is the recipient of 10 Grammy Awards. Tonight, mostly clear, lows around 50. Tomorrow, sunshine, highs in the upper 60s. And tomorrow, sunshine, highs in the mid-70s. Currently 69 degrees in Milwaukee, 69 in Waukesha. For 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. My name is Brian Kelly.
The Devil's Advocates, the fix for political junkies everywhere.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. We'd like to welcome another fine guest. We've saved the best for last today, Dom. His name, Rep. David Crowley, a fine Dem from right here in Milwaukee. David, welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you, David.
David, I appreciate your flexibility. Somebody named Gary double booked today, but you've been very generous and making some time for us. We appreciate it. Let's talk about a proposition you've put forth, David. You'd like to see safer roads here in Milwaukee. Seems like a noble cause, sir. But your proposition, David, is what? What are you going to do to lower the number of people that are driving crazy on these roads down here? I mean, it's not just Dominic.
You're right. It's just not Dominic. It's a lot of folks out here, and what we're proposing is that we know that we need to do everything possible to give our Milwaukee Police Department the tools they need in order to make sure that these roads are actually safe. And so what we are proposing are automatic speed enforcement cameras, but also red light cameras as well, to really stop those folks who are doing 20 miles per hour over the current speed limit, but also to catch those folks who are disregarding these red lights.
And David, you've put forth some statistics. I'm quoting from a press release that you issued. I guess I'm quoting it back to you, sir. You point out, in the last 8 years, traffic-related fatalities in the city of Milwaukee have increased by 73%. That's a shockingly high number, while traffic citations issued during the same time frame fell by 60%. So let me turn it into a question, David. We just had the acting sheriff of Milwaukee County in just not so long ago, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Richard Schmidt said at that time one of his priorities is traffic enforcement. And I've seen a lot more sheriff's deputies pulling people over on the side of the road when I commute home at night. David, couldn't we simply solve this problem by enforcing the current traffic laws, making a priority out of enforcement, taking a few more, reckless Dominics off the streets?
Well, we do need to enforce the current laws on the books. You're absolutely right. But it's hard to do that when you have a police department that is slowly dwindling, but you also have so many other issues that they're being called for things that are rightfully so, for example, crime. And so if we're going to make sure that we have a police department that can do everything that they can to stop the crime, to make sure that they're catching bad guys, we need to make sure that they have every tool available to them. Now, by creating these traffic safety cameras, we have the ability to actually put more cops on the street to focus on crimes that are occurring in our neighborhoods. Now, I get it. This is definitely a controversial issue because a lot of people think about them trying to catch that yellow light or catch that red light, that yellow light before it turns red. But those aren't the folks that we're looking at going after. We put some privacy things in place to make sure that people's privacy are protected. We're doing things to make sure that if your car is stolen, you won't be liable. But also, we have to do everything that we can to make sure that we ensure safety. I mean, about 4 blocks away from my house last week, a young woman died because the person ran a red light. We've had a woman and her daughter lose their lives to people running these red lights. But the other misconception that I need to put out is that many of the people who are running these red lights are speeding. A lot of folks think that these are all criminals, but they're not. And we need to make sure that folks understand that we all need to abide by the law and make these roads safer. And so anybody, all 70, even though we've seen this increase of 73%, we have to keep in mind that these aren't just all stolen cars.
Folks, you're listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, WRRD, 1510 AM. We've got a local on the phone with us, State Rep David Crowley, talking about his Safe Roads Saves Lives Act. David, I want to get into the weeds just a little bit. Automatic speed enforcement cameras and red light cameras. What's the difference? How does it specifically work?
Well, one would specifically be for speeding. So they aren't just the exact same thing. So we want to make sure that the city of Milwaukee provides the data on where they're seeing the most speeders at, but also where we're seeing some of the most accidents at as far as people disregarding the traffic lights. So they are totally two different things. So a red light camera would be mounted on an intersection and would catch the individuals who are going through those red lights. Every camera will have to have a sign next to it so folks understand that this is the area that is under surveillance as it relates to traffic enforcement. And when it comes down to speeders, the exact same thing. You would as you're driving, you'll see a sign that says there's traffic enforcement or speed enforcement, and then so many, maybe a half a block or a block later, that's when the camera actually kicks in. So they're definitely two totally different things. But I want to be clear. I won't be creating the rules on this. I'm really looking to lift a ban that the state of Wisconsin currently has. By lifting this 5-year ban strictly for the city of Milwaukee, it gives them the opportunity to actually collect some data and report back to the state on what we can do to really focus on traffic enforcement. And I think this is something that we can take into account, especially when you've had even lawsuits in Chicago, for example, related to traffic enforcement. We have many cities to look at and learn from to figure out what's the best practice to institute here in the city.
David, one of the things I believe you mentioned is that the announcement of the MPD, Milwaukee Police Department, budget cuts. Fire department here on Brady Street is looking to be shuttered as well. It looks like the state of Wisconsin is sticking it, I'm talking about the Republicans, sticking it on the revenue sharing for the city of Milwaukee. In that context, David, what's the funding source? How do you envision this program getting funded?
Well, from what I've heard and from my conversations with the Common Council, some of the Common Council members, is that what ends up happening is that you actually have a company that actually puts these cameras up for free. And when those cameras are put up, when people get those tickets, they pay those tickets. The first thing that is actually paid for is the installation of the cameras. And what we're looking to do is once that is done being paid for, we would like to see the increased revenue from these tickets actually go directly into the police department to help alleviate some of these cuts that we see happening at the city level.
David, will it pay for itself before 2043? Will the taxpayers see recoup faster than Foxconn?
we would definitely recoup it faster than Foxconn. It's not going to take 25 years to get it back again. And you know, the other thing is that we're actually going to limit the amount of cameras as well. So it's not like we're going to have 151 like Chicago does. At most, I would only like to see 35 cameras. We're making sure that we put provisions in there so they don't saturate particular neighborhoods or saturate the north side and saturate the south side. We want to make sure that this automatic speed enforcement is actually spread out so we can actually collect good data to figure out what we need to do to really create a culture of safe driving.
David, it's certainly needed here in Milwaukee. I guess my question is liability. If some of these things are put up and it's challenged in court, would the city or the state be on the hook for defending this action, or would the company, presumably a private sector company that provides these free up front but get the revenue source, would they be also liable for defending whatever may be the case?
Well, that's definitely a good question. I haven't actually thought about that, but I believe that it would actually be the city that would be liable for it, because the city would actually have to create the Milwaukee Police Department would be in charge of actually creating the policies and procedures as to how this actually works. I'm just looking to institute a few parameters. And it's not to say that, you know, if we can make this stronger, we definitely can make this stronger, just not at the state level. I think that we can have a lot more input at the local level to really see what the aldermen and alderwomen should do to make sure this is a successful program.
One more question that I have for you, David. How much of an impact on, you know, these related these fatalities in the last 8 years and the lower enforcement has to do with the non-pursuit policy that was followed by Chief Flynn here and the MPD, do you think?
You know, when we instituted that non-pursuit policy, it was really to save lives. And I do think that it did do that. I think it did save lives and making sure that we can actually do something, our police department can do something in catching these bad guys, quote unquote. But I also want to say that, you know, when we think about the non-pursuit policy, you know, we have to think about what other tools does the police department have in order to catch these guys who are literally running away from the police. And I believe that these speed enforcement cameras and these red light cameras can definitely help when it comes down to that.
Well, David, I got one last question, and being a selfish bastard, I'm going to ask you about my evening commute. I got to drive from here to Madison each and every day. And I got to tell you, the Marquette, you know, and the Zoo interchanges, lots of financial resources poured into reconstruction. But the road in between, apparently Republicans are pulling up stakes. They're not going to repair that. David, here's my question. Am I going to be driving through orange barrels the rest of my natural life to get back home each night, sir? Do I have any say in this, or is this all Walker's folly?
Well, it's definitely Walker's folly. We definitely could have done some things as it relates to that particular corridor. I know that it was really about really coming to a compromise. Many of the neighbors in that particular area, if they see some construction happening between the zoo and the Miller Park, what they want to see is something that's conducive to them. And to be honest with you, I can't believe that they pulled this, you know, from the Republicans, because, you know, they always want to stick it to Milwaukee. So you would have assumed that because some of our residents were against it, that they would have been for it in the first place. But I think that it shows the fact that, one, we need to have a real compromise on what does rebuilding that particular freeway look like. But I also think that the Republicans need to step up and really focus on transportation. We need to do a lot more than just investing in our freeway system. We need an inner city public transportation here in southeastern Wisconsin. You know, and the fact that they have Foxconn, I believe, should actually be a shot in the arm for them to actually make that happen, so people outside of Racine and Kenosha could benefit from this. But you know they don't want to do that.
Well, David,
importantly,
David, I'm sorry, we're so short on time, man. I want to say thank God
I talk a lot.
Walker didn't install a high-speed rail. I can't ride that each and every day, because that would have gone straight from Milwaukee to Foxconn.
Oh, yeah, but we can have a train that goes from Chicago to Foxconn, just not from Milwaukee to Foxconn.
Well, you know, as long as it doesn't have Obama money attached. Rep David Crawley, thank you so much for being a flexible guy and a fine guest here on the Devil's Advocates radio show today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
It's always fun.
We'll see you around town soon. Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates. One short segment. Then Crudy's got to drive through those orange barrels on the way home. You can join us on the phones. Your opinions welcome. Last call, 844-967-2789.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Good luck. We're all counting on you.
Scott Walker thinks Wisconsin should once again hire him as governor.
You wouldn't hire me to be a neurosurgeon.
This is a person who has not worked in the private sector since 1993.
You wouldn't hire me to run condos. You wouldn't hire me to run HP.
And has made his political career.
You probably wouldn't hire me to run the United States Senate.
By using divisive tactics to the benefit of his corporate donors.
First step is we're going to deal with collective bargaining for all public employee unions. Because you divide and conquer.
Now he supports the largest publicly funded government subsidy of a foreign corporation in American history.
You know, they can go suck lemons.
And Scott Walker has yet to live up to his first campaign promise to create 250,000 jobs.
Is this a campaign promise? Something you want to be held to?
Absolutely.
Scott Walker, we the people are done sucking your lemons. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
Hi, I'm Anton Capella. As Chief Technology Officer at Five Nines, it's my job to make sure your network is up 99.999% of the time. Technology is constantly evolving, and keeping your business up to date in an ever-changing environment can be a hassle. At Five Nines, we're here to help. Five Nines is more than just our name. It's the level of service you can expect. Better IT gives your business a competitive advantage. Learn how Five Nines can help at fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
In Wisconsin, the laws are the same for bicyclists and motorists, so if you bike, ride with the traffic and obey signs and lights. Whether you ride a bike or drive a car, you must yield the right-of-way to pedestrians at marked and unmarked crosswalks. At intersections, always look for pedestrians before making a turn, and slow down in school zones and neighborhoods to keep our kids safe. Share and be aware. We're all responsible. Visit shareandbeaware.org to learn more.
When you need an attorney, trust the voice of experience. The only choice, Lawton and Cates.
I needed an attorney because I was injured at work. I wanted to find a reputable attorney. The results that I got with Lawton and Cates were very good. I'm very happy with the way I was treated and the end result that I got.
Trust the voice of experience. Call the attorneys at Lawton and Cates. 282-6200. 282-6200.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Kicking ass and taking names since the Wisconsin uprising. Dom and Crute are the Devil's Advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, WRD 1510 AM. Last segment of the day, phone calls here at 844-967-2789.
Dom, a few go to the order of things. First of all, let me thank our last fine guest. He was State Rep David Crowley, Milwaukee's own, a good guest, a friend of ours. Also, Tony Evers. Does that count for 2 appearances today?
Maybe.
We appreciate the Dem gubernatorial candidate. Of course, he is superintendent of the Department of Public Instruction, and he's going up against the Wankinator.
And rated mostly true by PolitiFact today, talking about job growth in 2016 down almost 70% from the year before.
Well, if you'd have said almost 70%, you'd have probably gotten absolutely true. But, of course, the small mathematical differential, the rounding error, made him mostly true. I know how it feels, Tony. A few other points. I see that our friend Mandela Barnes is seriously considering a run for lieutenant governor.
Interesting.
Perhaps a announcement forthcoming on this show sometime soon. And also, I see the internet kind of blew up in congratulations of Corey Mason yesterday. He is the new mayor of the city of Racine. He, of course, was a state rep, a Democrat. I did take some issue, not personally with Corey, but, of course, his vote on Foxconn sticks in my craw a little bit. But, you know, if you're doing a little political triangulation and you want to be the mayor of Racine, I would say, A, he still had lots and lots of personally loyal Democrats that stood by him, helped him campaign, and B, you know, if it's going in your backyard, I suppose you get on the bandwagon.
Let's hope it all works out for everybody involved, not just those in Racine County or the city of Racine, but us here in the state of Wisconsin. Hate to see that thing go upside down and put the folks in the city of Racine on the hook.
Well, other than his vote on Foxconn, we wish Corey Mason a fine Dem. Congratulations on his victory last night in the electoral race in Racine. I got to tell you, I didn't even know it was election day in Racine yesterday.
Come on.
Tomorrow, Dom, step back a little bit. Let me see the board. We got Mark Thompson. He is the head of the Wisconsin Elections Commission, and he's going to join us right here on Brady Street. You know, we're going to take a new tact. We're going to try promoting a few of our fine guests.
Why would we
have
do
great
that?
guests nearly every day, but sometimes because Gary books them so late in the day, sometimes, and here's a secret, folks, even while we're on the air, Dom's talking, I'm booking.
That's how efficient we are. Cutting edge, always, always on the forefront of breaking news.
So we give you the finest guests. We just don't always promote the fact that they're going to be here. So you got to stick around and listen.
You got to tune in and find out what fine guests the Devil's Advocates are going to have tomorrow.
Each day, 3 hours. That's all we ask. That's not a lot to ask, right?
No, I don't think so. No.
I mean, I'm sure everyone listening to my voice exercises at least 3 hours a day. They could just throw us on the treadmill with them.
Do you exercise 3 hours a day, Mike?
In my mind.
You're always running.
My brain's always running. Does that count?
In some ways, yes. Physically, probably not.
Well, I'd like to Trump bash right now.
But we're out of time.
Well, maybe one more story, but not Trump bashing. Because if you've stuck around with the Devil's Advocates, you should be rewarded and not punished for sticking around till the end of the show. So one more Wisconsin story. Wisconsin GOP Senate candidates Kevin Nicholson and Leah Vukmir weigh in on the turtle man, Mitch McConnell, with ex-White House chief strategist Steve Bannon declaring a season of war against the Republican establishment. The fate of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is beginning to emerge as an early flashpoint in GOP races across the country, including in Wisconsin. Kevin Nicholson, the Delafield businessman who's running in the Republican race to take on Democratic U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin next year, now opposes McConnell of Kentucky. Here's a quote, Dom. Kevin has made it clear he's prepared to support new leadership because of the Senate's failure to pass a conservative agenda. He said through a spokesperson, Nicholson's decision to pull back from McConnell is already paying political dividends. On Monday, the Bannon-linked super PAC Great America PAC endorsed Nicholson. On Wednesday, Nicholson received the endorsement from the Tea Party group Freedom Works for America. You're going to see Freedom Works absolutely endorsing the type of candidates who would oppose McConnell, said Noah Wall, Vice President of Advocacy for Freedom Works. Freedom Works for America President Adam Brandon was even harsher. In his endorsement of Nicholson, Brandon said, in 2017, Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has repeatedly embraced liberal Republicans. We can't count on like Susan Collins. With only 52 Republican senators, including several fake conservatives, we urgently need to increase the number of senators who keep their word. Kevin has indicated that he would oppose Mitch McConnell's failed leadership. What did Leah say?
When I get to the Senate, I won't stand still for excuses or lack of results on issues the American people care about, the issues Donald Trump put forth during the election. In Wisconsin, I am known for pushing leadership in the direction of our conservative principles. Even as member of leadership, that's what I was elected to do. Attempting to be dismissive about what Wisconsin conservatives have accomplished is ridiculous. Act 10, right to work, repeal of prevailing wages, property tax decreases, government accountability reform, John Doe, 20-week abortion ban, Castle Doctrine, just to name a few.
I didn't hear. Was she the target of one of the John Doe investigations, or just proud that she has helped codify campaign corruption here in the state of Wisconsin?
I'd take number 2.
Folks, we're the Devil's Advocates. Thanks for sticking around to the best of the bitter end. Please join us tomorrow. Another big show with or without fine guests that we will or will not announce.
There's more to be done. What would you say you do here?
Are you with me?
Not gonna work here anymore anyway.
They can go suck.
Hey folks, sexy liberal Stephanie Miller here. Most new Wisconsin jobs are in Dane County, it's true. Some of my listeners are relocating to Madison. Many already commute there. When asked where to turn for a trusted real estate team that understands Madison, I say the same thing. Solidarity Realty. They help you through the process and protect your consumer rights. They live their values building community, promoting sustainability and diversity. Find them today at solidarityrealty.com and tell them Stephanie Miller sent you.
The Devil's Advocates.
Well, if the rapture comes, I hope they take me and leave Dom.
If the rapture comes, we'll be